Good morning. It's April 25th, about 4:30 in the morning. Um, how's everyone doing? Okay, so I think it's been 1 week since I started this video journal. So I thought I would do a little check-in. I'm feeling good. I feel like I have come back mentally to the place where I was when I initially lost all my weight. There's a certain headspace, mindset that I get into that I start to go with the flow. I don't fight myself or anything anymore. I mean, it doesn't mean that it's super easy. It just means I've gotten into the right headspace. And from my experience, that is key. Constantly feeling like you're pushing up against a wall or, pushing against something, really struggling to stay in the zone. That's not sustainable. I can't live like that. So I'm very glad that that has been the case for like, I guess a little bit before I started this journal, but I felt like I wasn't in the right headspace. I could just, like that, go back to the path that would lead me back to 270 pounds. Because I know what that feels like. I know what that path is. The obsession with food, always thinking about it, having, laying down with a bag of chips is what I look forward to, what makes me happy, fulfills something in me, which so I guess I need to dive a little deeper into why I do that, but that's another story. Yeah, so anyways, there's always two paths ahead of you, and this is how I make my decisions. If my brain is like, oh, I want to sit down and eat a bag of chips. Now I've come to a fork in the road. I have two decisions. I can do that. I can go get the bag of chips and I can go sit down and I can go eat the entire thing. And that's my decision. Or I can get up, go for a walk, go do something, go maybe make, my dinner, or go make some healthy muffins for the week or something. Yeah, basically I stop and I actually analyze it for a second and I make it a conscious decision. Because if I make it a conscious decision to, okay, go ahead, I'm going to let myself have the treat and enjoy it, at least I'm in control of that decision. But a lot of times just stopping and thinking about it and removing myself, or yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, but I feel like I come to a point where I have a fork in the road and I have to make a decision. That's kind of how it was a few weeks ago. I knew I had come to a point where I was gaining and gaining and gaining weight again. And I had to make a decision. I'm either going to stop, turn around, and go back on the healthy path, which leads to longevity, hopefully, feeling good, not feeling weak or tired or heavy or lethargic, or I can continue on the path that I was, where I'm, putting junk in my body and not fueling myself properly and not exercising properly and all of those things. That I've already been on that road as well, and that is the road where I'm not as healthy, but mentally and emotionally as well, I'm not happy. It makes such a huge difference. Also with my periods, and now that I'm definitely in perimenopause, that's another issue. I'm going to talk about how much my periods have changed since I went plant-based. Man, that's huge. But yeah, so I had to make a decision, and I'm so glad I made this decision to get back on the healthy path. Because I think mood I don't want to say depression, but, you know, mood, emotional and mental health is going to be a big thing in the next several years, going through perimenopause and then menopause. That's going to be a big thing. I don't think hot flashes, so like with our mom, she didn't have hot flashes. It was mostly mood based. So yeah, and I'm pretty much her twin. So I think the decision I made, the conscious decision, and one that I'm committed to every day, is to take care of my health, first and foremost, and you know, other things fall into place. So yeah. Anyways, check in. I feel good. There were some struggles this week. I think I mostly stuck to my plan. There were only, no, I don't think so. I didn't have any ultra processed food, which I consider ultra processed, like, you know, a bag of chips or, you know, donuts. I didn't have anything like that. Yeah, I think I did good. So another thing, I'm reading this Forever Fit book, which I talked about quite a bit last time. I'm going to read a couple things from that today, some of my takeaways, because I'm like halfway through the book now. But some of the key takeaways. So I'm this time around losing the weight, I am trying to change my brain from a light switch on or off, black and white. I'm trying to find that gray area. And one of the things he talked about in here, Maxime Sigouin, I learned how to pronounce his last name. One of the things he talks about is look at the overall, say you're going to look at your overall week. How many wins did you have? We have 7 days in a week, right? So if you had 2 win days and the rest were not win days, those only having 2 win days out of 7 days, it's okay. It's just not going to propel you forward to your goal. If you had 6 win days, that's going to propel you forward. Don't obsess about the one day that you don't consider a win for whatever reason, whatever your markers are. Yeah, so again, I'm trying to look at the big picture. So honestly, I feel like I had 6 or 7. I feel like I had 7 win days, which is kind of crazy. So you know what? I did great. I'm not going to obsess about the tiny, you know, if I put 4 chocolate chips in my mouth or something like that. I'm not going to obsess about that stuff anymore. So yeah, so I feel like I had good days. The scale didn't really budge. I don't think I lost anything. I think the scale says I did lose 2 pounds, but I have to be honest with you, I think that was water weight and going to the bathroom. Because I was 162 and then the next day I was 160 because I had gone to the bathroom, and it has stayed at 160 all week, and that's great. Actually, it's fluctuated. It went to 161 and then 159 and then 160. So that's totally normal from last time losing weight. I know that in a day I can lose 2 pounds or gain 2 pounds based on how much I'm going to the bathroom. You know, all sorts of things, your period, everything. So anyways, yeah, so, you know, the scale didn't really do anything, but that's okay. Again, that's just a guide. But it comes down to how I feel physically and mentally and emotionally. And I feel so much better. I feel more open and clean and light. Yeah, so I feel like what I'm doing now is I'm taking everything I learned last time from losing weight and I'm fine-tuning it, and that feels really good. Okay, so that's good. We're at 10 minutes. I'm gonna continue on. So check-in done. I feel great. Okay, I'm going to ask you guys some questions, and maybe I'll type them in the in my description below, because these were some really really good questions that I think you guys should journal if you want to. I do want to talk one time, and I'll just say it real quick. One of the things that has stuck with me that he said is motivation is not your friend. It's not going to keep you going. Well, he didn't exactly put it like that, but that's kind of what I keep thinking. Motivation is not my friend. I mean, it's a fair weather friend. It's great when you have it. Commitment is what is going to keep you going. So you need to form and seal your commitment to being healthy, making healthy choices, and not rely on motivation. Those are win days. When you take the emotion out of it, the motivation is just emotion. Take the emotion out of it and rely and stick to your commitment. That's a win. So I love that. That has stuck with me and I really loved it. Okay, so here's a couple other things. What are some current behaviors that no longer serve you that you are committed to letting go of? So this is interesting because a lot of times I like self-help books and stuff like that. So, and I love journaling prompts and stuff. So it's a pretty fairly common question. What are some current behaviors that no longer serve you? But I haven't had too many people that take it a step further and say that you're committed to letting go of, because someone can ask you, what are some behaviors that what are some behaviors you'd like to get rid of? That's a different question than what are some behaviors that you are committed to letting go of. That makes it an actionable step. So what behaviors, they might not serve me, but am I willing and committed to letting them go? That's interesting. Okay, so that was one question that I worked on. Another question is, what changes in your environment do you need to make your goals become a reality? And that's another fairly common question, but that's a really good one. Think about your environment. Is there certain foods that you need to eliminate from the house if you can? I mean, we can't. So I live in a unique living situation. My sister and I moved in together after Ian died in 2017, and then our parents moved in with us in 2019. So we all live together. My mom, my sister, and we all eat the same way. So that is amazing support right there. But our dad doesn't, and we respect that. We do talk to him about his health and, try to, I don't want to say we don't try to change him at all. It has to be that person's decision. But, we respect his decision to not do that. It's just hard because you want everyone around you to be healthy, and it's hard. So anyways, so he does bring home cakes and donuts and chips and everything that, everything that I want. But he is, again, he is respectful. He has a cupboard that has solid doors that we can't see through, that he puts his junk food in. But poor mom has to sit in the den with him every evening after dinner, and she's trying to be good, and she is good, and not eat after dinner, and especially not that stuff, while he snacks. So I said to mom, I'm like, I have willpower and dedication, but I'm like, whoa, I'm not sure if I could sit next to someone that's eating a cupcake. And I don't know if I could do that. So that's amazing that she does that. Okay, so anyways, what changes in your environment do you need to make for your goals to become a reality? So do you need to hide the chips behind a solid door so you don't see it? Try not to have it stick in your brain that it's there, though. Do you need to just eliminate it from the house? I don't know. Do you need to stop eating dinner in bed? Because that triggers you just grabbing food and laying. I don't know. Whatever it is, think of your environment. So that was a good one. What do you want most versus what do you want now? That was another one that I was like, oh, I like that question. I don't know if anyone's asked me that before. So, what do you want most versus what do you want now? And that is kind of also, I think that's kind of the decision I make when I said I always come to a fork in the road. What do I want most? Well, I want to feel comfortable in my own body. I want my clothes to fit better. I want to avoid high blood pressure and diabetes, and I want to avoid heart disease. Versus, what do I want now? Well, right now, I want that cookie, or right now, I want to binge eat. But what do I want most versus what do I want now? Because what I want now, that craving and desire will pass. But what I want most, yeah, so I just thought that was really interesting. So that, I think that's a good question. Here's the last question from him, and then I'll probably be done. How hard are you willing to work to achieve your goals? I also love that question because I had said before in the other video, he said, everything you want in life is on the other side of hard work. And I love that quote. So how hard are you willing to work to achieve your goals? You also could say, what are you willing to, sacrifice or forego or give up? What are you willing to give up in order to achieve your goals? I liked that. So those two I still have yet to answer, because I just saw them the other day, and it's been a crazy busy week. Yeah, so anyways, I'm really enjoying this book by Maxime Sigouin, Forever Fit. Yeah, it's heavy on plant-based, so if you're not ready to hear someone talk about how much better your health will be on a plant-based diet, I get it. But the information is in there. He talks a lot about protein and the different phases of his program. So it's a really good read. There's lots of useful information, lots of journaling prompts. He has you write reflections and things like that, and I really like it. It seems like a nice holistic approach. But yeah, so I'm feeling good. Yeah, today, let's see, today is a Saturday. I've worked all week. I picked up some extra hours. I never did finish my story of what I'm doing now after I left the museum, but I'll leave that for another time since we're going over time here. Yeah, I'm feeling positive. I have some lentils cooking right now in the Instant Pot. So if you are interested in changing your diet at all and finding out, some of the healthier foods, I would suggest, let's see. I really enjoy Dr. Greger's books. They're How Not to Die. He has several: How Not to Die, How Not to Diet, How Not to Age. They're heavy, but they become reference books. It's not like, yes, you sit down and read the entire thing, but they become reference books. I don't have it up here, but Fiber Fueled is excellent. Fiber Fueled and How Not to Die are like my, I don't want to say Bibles, but they're my go-tos. Fiber Fueled by Will Bulsiewicz. I'm sorry, I'm mispronouncing his name, but they're wonderful, and they give you a really good idea of, yeah, they're just great for guidelines. But yeah, I use it as a reference and a resource. So those are some excellent books, but I guess I'll just end in saying I'm so glad that I decided to hop back on the healthy train and really kind of, it's not that I was still vegan, but I was kind of having more vegan junk food than I ever had. And yeah, I just kind of feel like I'm putting everything back in order. And you know how you feel like you dodge a bullet? Like, I just feel like I was not on a great path. And yeah, I feel like my future is going to be a lot healthier because of the decisions that I'm making now, and that's really important as I get older. Okay, excellent. So upcoming videos, I'm going to talk about my transition from the museum back to owning a small business. I also want to talk about how my periods have changed since I went whole food, plant-based. And I want to talk about like perimenopause and menopause and things like that. But yeah, and we'll see whatever else happens in life. Okay, guys, thanks for hanging in there. I will put those questions that I said in the description below if you guys like journaling like I do, which I highly recommend, because you get to buy fun pens and journals, and that's always fun. Okay, awesome. I'll see you guys later. Have a good day. Bye.